Alright, welcome back to Dee Dee's little tiny garage. This video is an aside. We're going to deviate from engine final assembly while we're waiting on some components for the stand, which is this device here that holds my engine. As you can see, it's in all my videos where it's been running. Thanks again to Mark of Bomar Industries for constructing this beautiful artwork and functional. We're doing a little work to it, namely the fuel tank had a small leak in it, and it was 15-gallon fuel cell. I'd like to increase that a little bit, so he's going to raise the top and kind of reconstruct it, make it a little tougher, and we're also going to put a fill neck in it instead of using the fuel cell filler, which is very inconvenient when it's installed and the jet engine's above it. We're going to have a little fill neck to the side where it'd be easier to get fuel into it. I put some larger, heavier casters on it. It's been a busy summer. You saw that I did some kayaking. I got a little bit of that in. We normally don't get in because we don't have that much rain that late in the year, normally. I did get out to the U.S. Nationals, the drag, so I got a little clip of video there. It's pretty awesome. Sorry it's poor quality. It's shot with this Canon camera from up in stand, so you know, it is what it is. But we had a blast. I took Fran. She had never been to any drags, and that was a rude awakening for her when the top feelers first set off. If you haven't been, it's just like everybody says, the J79. You kind of got to be there to really experience it. Hearing it or seeing a video doesn't cover it. Same thing. It's just the power, the sound, the thunder. So she got a rude awakening there. It was funny. She jumped 2 or 3 inches off her seat. Everybody's kind of, people that knew she was new there were kind of watching her instead of the cars at first, And then there was this illusive B-17, Boeing B-17 bomber from World War II was flying around here for a weekend. And every time I heard him, I'd run outside with the camera and I would just catch a glimpse. I was so damn mad. That thing was sneaky. And you could hear it and think, what is that? Oh, that's an unmistakable sound. Get the camera, where is it? Run outside, turn it on, you're looking around, and there you see it, and you see just a glimpse, and it's behind some trees, so damn it. I was trying to catch it. So I got a couple little shots of that. We're just going to do some entertainment filling here until I can get this thing together, and then we will be ready then to place the engine on it. We have a nice resting place. At that point we can start connecting plumbing and accessories. There's a bit to do there. It's going to be a while before it runs, but it's progressing. So here we go. Let's take a look at this stand. Let's get this turned around here. Okay, what we have up front here is our fuel cell. Fuel tank, if you will, and it's 15 gallons. This is where my return line from the engine dump valve, shut-off valve, cut-off valve on the bottom that shuts fuel off to the manifold. Well, this is where the return dump fuel goes back to the tank. Okay, this is where you put fuel in, but I think that's going to be modified so I can put fuel in the side. What I'd like to do is have a neck come out here to the side up in this area where I can unscrew a cap and put a funnel. Trying to pour fuel down in here is very difficult when you got a 5-gallon container and you got the engine, mind you, is up front here, so it's in your way. So we're thinking changing that idea. Down here we have the fuel outlet. We have two fittings here. This one's just a cap. This one's obviously the line to the pump. This is our booster pump. It is a 28-volt DC motor. It's an aircraft fuel boost pump. It says right there. However, it is not of a large enough capacity to actually run this engine to its full power. It does find up to about 50% RPM. From the outlet of the pump, we got an inline filter, and then this is our fuel line. And right over there on the end is the fitting that connects to the top of the engine. That's the fuel inlet to the engine. Okay, we have 2 battery boxes, 12-volt battery containers to get our 24-volt system. And then these are the cables that, electrical cables that run to the engine, and the large ones are the starter cables. The others are instrumentation, fuel switch, etc. And then we have our electrical cabinet, which is this enclosure here. It's pretty much weatherproof, sealed up so that, you know, moisture can't get in. And inside here are relays, starter solenoid, terminations, and connections. And that's about all there is to it. You see it. Well, we're going to get busy, drain the fuel out of the tank, disconnect it the rest of the way, and then remove it from the stand. So we'll spare you that boring video. There. And the rooster says it's time to go. Got a good chance to go to the NHRA U.S. Nationals that are in town this weekend. Went Friday evening, and courtesy of Mark from Bomar Industries. Yeah, he had a couple tickets. We went to take in the qualifications, kind of the first day for qualifications, and it was interesting. It was really cool. Lots of power. I got to see some top fuel stuff run. Anyway, I had a couple of jet dragsters to wrap up the day's events, and it was just getting, you know, dark, so we had a nice light show. Let's take a quick look at a short clip from the Friday night qualifications at Lucas Oil Raceway, and you'll see a couple of you'll see a top fuel dragster run, and just get a really quick idea of what's going on there. All that work and all that engineering, all the striving to only go a quarter of a mile as quickly as possible. I don't mean speed, I mean time, shortest time possible, and it's it's amazing.
We pedaled to the top on it. I've seen him blow the top layer down. They're not hitting that hard. You can feel that heat. Look how the water's being.
Yeah. Okay, we just got a quick glimpse of a couple of the drag race events and a tiny glimpse of the old B-17. I think there were a few antique planes in town for a get-together on, that was Labor Day weekend. So that may have explained the B-17 randomly flying around. I think it was taking people rides. It might even been for a project where they take old vets, World War II vets for rides. They get a chance to go up in a plane like that. You could, we got to do a little correction or a minor clarification. At the drag strip, the top fuel cars you are seeing run, the two dragsters, those are 1,000 foot runs. They are not a quarter of a mile. I had forgotten that they had changed that rule a few years ago because of the speeds they were attaining were getting a little bit too fast. They shortened the distance. So they got a little less distance in which to get up to speed. So in not a quarter of a mile, but in 1,000 feet, they were getting to over 300. They were reaching 315 miles an hour plus. As you can see, jet engines aren't really that fast for drag racing. They're not that fast in takeoff, but obviously they were just getting going when they had to be shut down. However, you got to see a little afterburner action. That's as close as I can get to afterburner action for me. Sorry. Alright, well, we're going to look over here. We've got a few things done since this video was starting to be put together. Since I started putting this video together, the earlier part of it is older material. We have got a few things accomplished. We got the rear engine mounts modified. The engine clearance issues, I believe, are solved, and everything's good there. And we'll get the camera off the tripod and show you that I actually got it mounted here back on the stand. And we're now awaiting the detail at the very front end, including installing this giant spanner net and getting it tightened to the proper torque, and then closing up the front bearing housing. Alright, so let's take a quick look at that, and then we're done. We'll wrap this up. Hopefully we can resume getting reassembly and here very soon. So take a look here. Well, as you can see, there she is, back on its stand, looking pretty good. Obviously the fuel cell's not ready yet. So, fuel cell, which you saw, I think, here at the beginning of this video, is right there, is being repaired. As I said earlier, it's going to be enlarged and the leak fixed. So, the engine will be sitting here. I will actually have to hoist it straight up in the air a little bit to get down in here. Fuel cell won't quite go through with the engine in place, so all we have to do, of course, is remove our screws and hoist it straight up, lift it vertically, keep it horizontal. Alright, this is our modified mounts right now at the moment, but we have our slotted rear engine mounts. And I guess you did notice, it is horizontal again, and hopefully it will never have to be turned vertical ever again. Alright, here at the front, we still have a little work to do, and that will be on the next video. We have to install our spanner nut and tighten it. We use this great big socket, and actually we're going to have to manufacture a little special tool which holds the socket in place while we turn the shaft. We're going to actually make another socket. As you can see, it's rotating. It's not rubbing. You can see our little bearing there turning, the shaft. So that's what we're really proud of. It is so smooth and quiet. Alright. Some progress. Alright, we're going to wrap this video. It really wasn't pertaining much to the J44, but we got to fill in a little time, keep you somewhat updated. As you can see, there has been a small amount of progress. Hopefully you were mildly entertained with some gearhead material. I only wish I had some had video of Fran's reaction to the top fuel dragsters launching from the line, but that may have got me in trouble had I published that. So we'll just let it go. Alright, appreciate you watching. I hope everybody's doing well, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks.